Hey guys, this is Hell Hades free to play. Guys, I'm going to be running through in this video the new update that's just dropped. I'll show you a couple of bits which I hadn't seen before. I'm going to run through how prepared am I for this fusion? How far did I get? What have I done in the last 4 or 5 days since I told you I was going to be like hard preparing to get this done? And we're going to run through some of the kind of early point requirements for the fusion, that type of stuff. It's also worth shouting out that on the website, hellhades.com, as always, we're going to be doing a daily update for the Walking Tomb Drang. So basically, it's a hit blow by blow. It's like, what should you be doing today? What should you be spending your energy on? What should you be spending your resources on? Or should be having a bit of a cool down day? We'll tell you everything. It also kind of talks you through what the champions liked, what's my views, you know, all that type of stuff. So I'll pin this down below, and you can just kind of like check in with it on a daily basis. And the HH Gaming team will be keeping it up to date, keeping you in the mix around how to get stuff done. Let's just check out a couple of the updates that are dropped, and we'll see how it actually plays out in game. So we've got the new Reserve Vault. That's actually really cool for the free-to-play. An extra few slots for cheap. I actually need that right now, so that's going to be good. We've got the hex changes. I've done a video on that. You can go and check that out and see how it actually works in reality. It's quite a cool change, actually. We've got the buffs and debuffs. Sorry, the buffs to champions, not debuffs. The buffs to champions, especially strong buff on Venus now having 100% HP burn. Very good buff for Constantine in terms of his damage and his ability to block revive now, which is pretty cool. And a really good buff on Cupidus, which I will do a video on probably tomorrow now because I've got a load of other stuff going on. But I really want to show you this update on Cupidus. It is significant. Cupidus is now way stronger. He's got an AoE HP burn instead of like a random hit, and it hits pretty hard. I've had a little play around with it already. And he's also got this kind of passive now with Venus that he will always counterattack if he gets hit, if Venus is on the team. And his A1's an AoE, which smacks. So that's like a significant change for him. Xingwang's had a buff as well, which is pretty good. And then we've also got this new skin in-game. I didn't know this was coming, actually. And this is an interesting one. So they've done a skin for Kale. Let me know what you think of it down below. This is his regular skin. We know Kale. They've gone for a masquerade skin. I mean, what are you saying to that? The red head, the kind of red glow is pretty cool, I guess. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm honestly not sure about the mask. Anyway, that's my view. I'm not sure about the mask. He's got a couple of spare smaller ones in case his face shrinks during the course of the evening. But that is Kale at the ball. So as I said, I'd have a quick look at the reserve vaults and that as well. So we straight up get 10 extra slots. It's okay. You know what I'm going to use this for right now? Anyone that I'm keeping for Faction Guardians, or anyone that is just straight up food waiting to be fed down the line. So I've actually got quite a lot of 40s here, 30s and stuff, which are ready to be turned into food. I'm just going to throw those in the reserve vault and give myself a bit more space. The cool thing here as well is actually like to open up these slots for me is tons cheaper than where I am to open up my main vault. So, you know, it's like a third of the cost. And in terms of silver, way less. So they haven't actually done us too dirty on the cost to open this up. And it does free up a lot more space in my main space, which I was running short of, to be fair. So, yeah, do I know why they've done this? Not really. I think it's a pure reaction to Faction Guardians coming in and people saying we just don't have the space. And they've opened up another vault for it, which is weird, but okay. But yeah, it is what it is. The reserve vault is now open. But let's get into this fragment event. Okay, so playing, we've done this cool thing that they do. They drop the fragment schedule here. So we're going to run through it and see how many fragments we can get and where we can get them. Where should we focus our time and our energy? And that's basically what we go through on the website on a daily basis. So just have a quick flick down, see if there's anything else to it. Okay, cool. So we get this kind of cool infographic here. Basically saying that there's 55 fragments available from tournaments, 40 from winning tournaments. You can't really ever bank on those, and 60 in events. So if you ignore the fact that you can win them from winning a tournament, which I think we should do, then it actually gives you 115 fragments, okay? So basically what we can say there is there's 15 that we can ignore. Yeah, 15 you could ignore. You've got to do the rest. And it's normally this way, by the way. It's normally pretty much the same numbers. And you see here, we've got a champion chase. I always look out for the shard events because they tend to be the hardest to do both of. We've got a 15-point champion chase here over this weekend coming up. And then you've got a 20-point summon rush next weekend. Okay, so this weekend is actually a 2x void event. So it would make some sense to use some of those void shards and your ancient shards during the champion chase. I tend to save sacreds for a summon rush. But, you know, it might be because you're going to need at least 5 points from the summon rush. And they tend to have like a 2-tiered summon point score for summon rush. So we're going to want to make sure that either we grab the 5 points from the summon rush, which will be, and they normally do it somewhere around 2,000 points worth. So it's like 4 sacreds. And you max out the champion chase. Or you ignore the champion chase and you go all in on the summon rush. It's kind of up to you really. But going all in could be a good like 4,000 or 5,000 points worth of summoning for the summon rush. The other stuff here, you've got Dragon Tournament kind of overlapping with Champion Training. So that's both using energy. Just choose which one you want to do. You do see Dungeon Divers cut in a bit later than normal. So all of this energy you're using here basically is not going towards any sort of Dungeon Divers, but it is kind of what it is. You're going to have to use your daily energy anyway. So I would say pick one and just get it done. And then choose the other one for Dungeon Divers. It doesn't really matter which way round you do them. You go into Classic Arena, which is generally not too bad. Artifact Event comes up here towards the end of week 1, which is just a silver farm. Then we get into Ice Golem, which does overlap into the Dungeon Divers as well. So there's plenty of time to overlap and get that done. You've got the first Champion Training starting now, worth 15. The second Champion Training starts on Wednesday next week, worth only 10. So this is our bigger Champion Training event. This is where you want to kind of crunch those 6 stars and get them done. And, you know, you probably want to check back over one of my old videos around how to get the most out of those champion training events. Yeah, I did actually really detailed ones for the Helicaf fusion. So you should be checking those out in terms of efficient champion training. Efficiency is key. Yeah, you don't need to spend as much energy as you think when you're doing this type of stuff. So make sure you kind of check out how to do those. Champion Training again here, Finite Tournament, another Classic Arena, easy as you like. So you got the Champion Training, Finite, all dip into this Dungeon Divers, and we'll give you the silver to do the next artifact. And you got Spider and Dungeon Divers at the end. So it feels kind of okay, right? It feels okay. The main thing will be, have you got enough energy to kind of dovetail some of these double ups? And have you got enough shards to deal with one or both of the summoning events? If you do the full champion chase, you actually don't need to do... you only need to get 5 points from Summon Rush. And if you've got enough shards to kind of get involved in both, it might be that you can dip out of something else. The fragments tend to be a little bit easier than the kind of classic fusions. But, yeah, you know, you've still got to be in the mix daily. You've still got to be getting on board. You can now and then, if you're lucky, pick up an extra 5 from winning a tournament. And if you do that, of course, it means you need less from the summoning stuff or whatever. So there is opportunities out there, depending on what your groups look like, but that's a little bit RNG. So if we actually look at a couple of ones that are in game right now, and then I'll go through my prep that I've done so far. And you know, I did say I would do this. So, you know, things like the Fusion warm-up event already maxed out. You should have been doing this. Easy extra stuff to get for nothing. But yeah, first champion training is in then. And we've got what? 6,500 points. This is the harder of the two according to, you know, it's 15 instead of 10 fragments. So, I mean, 6.5, a lot of people would find that's quite daunting. It's actually not too challenging once you get into the mix of how do you efficiently do these things. Yeah, and again, go back and check that video out. Depending on my energy situation, I would love to get this legendary tome. I'm doing it to myself again, but I really would love this legendary tome as well because they're so difficult to get hold of. And if you're already going in 6,500 points, you know, you kind of want to try and push for a little bit more if you can. We've got the Classic Arena Champion Chase popping up here. And there's a Dragon Tournament that's going to pop in 7 minutes. This will just be, again, like an energy farm. So let's get into some of my prep. I got a 650 energy chunk just dropped, which I said that was coming. I knew it was coming. That's pretty damn cool. I also have one. So we got what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Shame that my new champion doesn't fall during the champion chase. That is a real shame, but never mind. We'll get through it. So we've got 2 times Void Shard event over this weekend. So we're going to be pulling shards for that. alongside the fusion, which is pretty cool. That's going to help us hopefully get some new stuff on the account. I still haven't pulled any gold from a shard on the free-to-play. And you saw how many days I'm in there. So yeah, basically, shard count. I'm now at 40 ancient shards, 20 voids, and 5 sacreds. I've had a pretty decent run from Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss. I've been killing it every day. The things I'm most worried about really are energy and silver. Silver you kind of farm along the way, so I think silver will get there. And I do have, because I've been farming a lot of spider to do a food farming over the last few days, I do have a kind of gear cleanse worth of accessories to do as well. So it's probably a good 5 million silver worth of accessories to just sell that I don't need, which will be massive as well. So that is something I can kind of get past, and I'm in a better spot. I have saved up any energy refills that have happened over the last few days. You can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 energy refills here. I've also got XP boosts 1, 2, 3. So when we've got to do the champion training, I'll have energy to use and I'll have XP boost to use. I've clocked as well. You should clock this, guys. It's massive. There is energy refill in this week's clan shop. I've got enough to do a full 1,000 energy from here. This will be my priority for this week. And I may even, with the excess gold that I've got, pick up some extra silver. The other stuff, look, it's better. Long term, the other stuff is better. Things like Yannicka. Yeah, great champion. The accessories, they're amazing. Yeah, but for right now, bearing in mind, I don't have tons of resources here. For right now, these drop off in priority for me, and energy becomes the priority because it's what I think I'm going to be most short of. Yeah, and it's always got to be that moment in time. What do you need? What do you need? Not what does someone tell you is the best thing. What do you actually need on your account? If we're looking at things like the bazaar, I don't have tons of gold bars here. I've got like 350 because I bought up those other 2 rares. They're going to help me towards the fusion for Broadmoor, which will help me towards champion chase. And I've been buying up my Drexar fragments as normal. So all of that stuff is just kind of like carried on. Doom Tower, I've punched up a decent amount. I need to get my act together and beat this Scarab boss up, which will require a bit of manual play. So I'm going to try and do that to keep myself moving so I can get like a double energy hit in a week. See this? Double energy. And after that is another energy the next week as well. So I think I can keep pushing, but the Scarab boss is a little bit tricky. Helicath will help me with that though, so we'll be able to do some of that. And what I've mainly been doing is actually food farming. So if I show you what's happened over the last week, I've leveled up some people in here, but this is kind of like a vault of misfits. But if you look at my account now, I've got 40, 40, 40, 40. So I've got 4 that can be made into 5 stars, which means I've got 1 champion that I can just straight up level to 6-star. I've got 30, 30, 30, 30. See all of these 30s? All ready to be leveled. Yeah, tons of them. And 20s all ready to be leveled as well. Look at all these. So for the first champion training, I'm in a good spot. And it's going to allow me to get my next 6-star. And I'm a little bit unsure what to do. I really am loving Deliana's utility at the minute. But she doesn't super like help me for clan boss or help me for... I think she is really good actually. It might just be that I do Deliana because she's quite good unbooked. So we might just push on and get Deliana done. There's not that many others that are like super important on my account. Apothecary could be good to just get the extra speed. And Gordrab could be good as well. And Vogoth. Like, I've got some good champions. But I think Deliana becomes my next 6-star. So I think she's going to be next. Because I want to see how high I can actually auto farm spider with her. I think that will be a pretty cool challenge to do. But you can see, like, food, I am ready. It's a sign. I just done my refresh in the market. We've got an ancient in here as well. It's a beautiful day. And actually, on my quest line, I've just kind of got the reset here. We will hit Void and Sacred during this fragment event. So it depends where they're going to drop. I like to use Sacreds for the summon rushes, and I like to use the other type of shards for champion chase, if it works out. But obviously it has to fall into line. I'm also coming up to another legendary tome here because I just keep doing this stuff, and you'll see, like, I've got my what's his name? Helicaf fully booked, apart from a couple of what's he missing here? One book on his A2, and I've got 7 books here for my next legendary champion. I'm going to be 8 once that advanced quest ticks over. So actually, if I do manage to get this new fusion, I will be able to pretty much straight out book him. I'll be going straight out for books. So bar a couple, we're almost there, which is cool as well. So, you know, when you get a champion you really want, it's so awesome to have books ready to go. Okay, let's check out what my clan boss chest looks like. The events are just starting to drop for this fusion, so we're going to get the schedule soon. This is yesterday's chest. Sacred, sacred, sacred. Didn't get a sacred. Got an okay piece and a book. We'll take it. Any sort of shard. Ancient shard is okay. It's the least good of the shards, just because of the amount of points we get from summoning events for it. But that's a like typical day for me. At least a shard, and then hopefully a couple, basically. And then I hit double key Ultra Nightmare on Void, and then my last key kind of comes in and deals with whatever affinity it becomes. Spirit being my worst at the moment, because I don't have a decent way of dealing with Spirit on the free-to-play. So Spirit generally is a much weaker hit for me. But I won't show you the full run. I'll show you the damage at the end. You kind of get a feel now for where my team has gone. I did do a video on this free-to-play Clan Boss team about, well, like a couple of days after I got Helicaf. So I'll pin it at the end, because a lot of people are asking me, have you got a video on your free-to-play Clan Boss team? Yes, I do. This is it. And it's now kind of juicy, really. I need a couple more books in my Fane, but everybody's got masteries. Eventually, Armina will come out, because she's not that great in role. She's currently just my tank at the minute, but she will come out for someone who does more damage. But everyone else is kind of cool, really, for this team. It's a really good team overall. And I think if I swapped Armina for one more good champion, I'll be on a 2-key. So I'll let this roll through. I've got to say, one of the coolest things about this team is its consistency of damage. And, you know, if I can just proc a few extra million, then great. But I'm pretty much always at 29 to 30 million for my first 2 keys, which means that even if I get a crap affinity, basically I'm still getting over the line, because I can get the kind of 9 to 10 million even on the worst possible affinity. So it's actually working out really well for me. Bane and Thraken doing the line share with Venomage coming in next and Helicaf after that. As I say, Armin is kind of a bit of a bit part at the moment until I get someone just better. But all in all, pretty damn solid. So that's going to cover it for this video. Good luck if you're going for this Fragment event. Do be aware, like, although there's more chances to catch up, you've still got to stay on it. You've got to be on it from day one to get this stuff done. A lot of people are on it from day one. They miss like the Monday, Tuesday, and they're like, what can I do? I've fallen behind. There's a few more chances on a Fragment event to catch up, but it's still challenging. You've still got to be in the mix really for the 2-week window. So good luck if you're going for it. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.